just because I have a crush at 13, does that mean I need to be hunching at 13? Does that mean I need to be hunching at 16? I don't know why people think having a crush and having that yearning and, having those still intense, valid feelings, because it doesn't end in hunching, that's a tease. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back. Let's discuss book stuff. In today's video, we're going to discuss adults increasingly asking young adult authors to add spice to their books. If you didn't know, young adult books is usually the age range of like 13, 14 and up. It's usually like 13, 14 to the 18 years of age range for the fictional characters. And adults, for some reason, want spice in this. Why do they need spice in this? I can't tell you. Why can't they just be fine with it not having spice? I'm not sure why every damn thing gotta have freaking spice in it. I don't understand it. I don't get it. And this kind of is unsettling because it's like you willingly read a young adult novel that you know are for young adults, for younger people, for younger audiences, right? Why do you then come into that space demanding adult themes? And by spice, I feel like a lot of people are referring to like more like explicit, intimate scenes with these fictional minors. What is wrong with y'all? I don't know why you feel the need to come into this space to then demand adult themes when it's not. Adults have, it's not like there's no spice out there. It's not like there's no open door out there. It's not like there's no explicit smut, graphic things out there. So go read those. Why are you coming over here demanding that from fictional minors? I don't want to read that. I don't understand why you're doing that. I quite honestly don't understand. And I might come off as a hater, but to me it's like, okay, if there's adult authors that write with spice and there's YA authors who obviously do not, are you asking YA to write like these spicy novels because the adults aren't doing it right? Like you know what I mean? And what I mean by that, this is totally like just a generalization and like being over the top, but it's like, it gives me the vibe of like, okay, I love reading YA because they cannot rely on spice and their writing and the plot be plotting. Like it is top tier writing. It is so good. Okay, so good that you don't need spice, right? But my thing is, maybe if adults wrote plotting better, if adults didn't just rely on the sexual element or just rely on that part to propel their plot, I don't know, would we get as many people asking for spice in YA? I feel like because YA notoriously does not have that explicit sexual element, which I love. Personally, I don't need spice in everything that I read. Sorry, I'm not that type of woman. It's just not my steez, okay? I'm more here for the plot. I'm here for the story. I'm here for the action. I'm here. There's so many other emotions than, sexual desire that can be evoked through reading a book that I don't miss it. You know what I mean? And that doesn't mean YA doesn't have romance. And I think we need to be very clear on how we're defining these things. Because again, I don't know why people don't really remember what it was like to be like in high school. You had crushes. You liked people. You made out with people. You felt strongly, even a romantic way, towards people. But did it have to go like wham, bam, thank you, ma'am? Does it always have to end to that? Does it have to get to that? Do we even have to read that on page? Could it just be maybe one-handedly, alluded to? Why does sexual themes need to saturate the young adult market? I feel like it doesn't. My God, it's everywhere enough. This world is sexualized enough everywhere we turn. And it kind of reminds me of like the disappearance of like the preteen safe spaces. But it just doesn't seem like they have as many things available to them in their age group to where it makes it safe to be their age group, like maybe I did as a millennial back in the day. Like I just don't feel like that's present now. I feel like that's why we have a lot of these young people just accelerated into like full blown adulthood. And that includes sexualization and the strife and the grief that goes with it. And I don't think we need any more erasure of those spaces. You read a YA book. You be happy you read YA and you sit down. Stop asking Ryan La Sala to add some other shit into his books. Stop asking da da da. And in fact, someone had a thread. I think it was Book Baddie Bree. Shout out to you. Book Baddie Bree said, y'all don't want to say it, so I will. The only reason y'all want the Legend-born cycle to be adult is so you won't feel weird for thirsting over an aged-up Nick or Cell. This series is intentionally, and I argue, hits harder because this is all happening to children. Someone doesn't agree, someone says Nick and Cell are a legal age. As far as I recall, they're only 17 by the time Oathbound happens. So I don't know. And I think it kind of goes back to that Nick big dick energy comment. People, oh, Cell, oh, Nick. Like, I don't know. Like, when I said Team Cell or Team Nick, I wasn't like, it was a very different feeling than when I was like Zayd and Ryerson. Those were two different kind of feelings. As I'm reading Oathbound, Legendborn, Bloodmark, I'm just rooting for these characters. First and foremost, I'm rooting for Bree hardcore, right? And I'm just a spectator in what is happening in Bree's life. I'm not, as an adult, yearning for Nick or yearning for Cell, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I think there's characteristics and like personalities and stuff that I think a lot of people wish they had more in their own life, but I'm not going to go into a YA space asking it to be adult just so I could get more explicit content out of it, or just so I don't feel bad about how I feel about a fictional underage character. I think y'all just need to check yourselves to begin with, because I don't think, no. Big Brady Bree also says, teenagers yearn for one another in real life. Why would that not be taken into account with books made for them? This was a response to someone that had an unpopular opinion about YA needs to not include heat or yearning of any kind if the protagonists aren't enough to do anything about it. What the fuck are Bree and Cell doing? I think you guys are ridiculous. It's almost like there's no such thing as PG-13. You know what I mean? It's like you want either PG or rated G, and then you want rated R. But PG-13 exists, right? I also argue that some of the shows that we watch, like, oh God, like Riverdale and stuff, like some of those visual elements where even at Euphoria, actually, because weren't they in high school? I feel like some of those visual aids were a little too much. So to have yearning, to have crushes, to like, I really like this person, I really miss him, I want to be around him, or I'm caught between the two, I don't know who I like more, or I don't feel like that's too far. I feel like it's again, there needs to be a PG-13 like element somewhere in the bookish space, and I don't think we should try to erase that. Did people forget what it truly felt like in your bones to have a crush? Those young early crushes, those hit hard, like they did. And not every single one of those encounters have to end in sex. It does not have to. Intimacy can be involved without sex. Vulnerability can be involved without having full-blown sex. And also, we don't have to explicitly talk about the sex when we're in underage spaces. I don't think that's freaking necessary. What is wrong with you people? Yeah. Someone also mentioned how this same person says, she said the yearning without sex is a tease. And I think it's gross that she thinks teenagers are teasing her by not having sex. That's, again, if you in your adulthood can't understand yearning and having crushes and that type of emotional thing go on without it ending in sex, and don't read YA. Just go ahead and read adult novels that gets to the wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, and get on with your life and get all of the sex that you need. Open door, closed door, whatever you need. If you don't like that, if you know what I mean, then don't read that. I'm not quite understanding. Like, I love my husband. I miss him. I yearn for him. Like, I have a crush on him. Does it mean it has to end in sex every time? It does not mean it needs to end in sex every time. When I was younger and I had crushes at 13, 14, 15, 16, everyone's life is different. I don't think people have any, they don't have any business in hunching. Just because I have a crush at 13, does that mean I need to be hunching at 13? Does that mean I need to be hunching at 16? I don't know why people think having a crush and having that yearning and, having those still intense, valid feelings, because it doesn't end in hunching, that's a tease. If you don't like it, then don't write it and you go read something else. But I think that these spaces where that middle ground for these younger readers should remain protected and should not have a blurred line between, you can't tell the difference between YA and adult, because I feel like there's still books who kind of push the line. I feel like Immortal Dark, I mean, the way it was written really good. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I don't think they were in high school. I think this was college aged in Immortal Dark, if I'm not mistaken. I gotta reread that before the second one comes out, Eternal Ruins. But many can argue between that and the blood and all this, it kind of pushed YA to the edge. You know what I mean? But to act like you need full-blown sex and spice and you need more than what is provided already, I think y'all are sick. I think we're pushing it and you have missed the point. You're missing the plot. And that's why you should just go read adult books and leave YA be its space that it is. I love YA because there isn't that explicit sexual content. I can guarantee that there isn't, but there's still that romance. There's still that vulnerability. There's still that emotion. There's still that love there. And I like that more than ending up in wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, and we can't stay off of each other. Like, I'm so over that. I'm so sick of that. Like, please. There's a time and place for those books, but stop trying to make it happen in YA. Let YA be what it should be. And I understand, and I almost feel like what they're really saying is these YA writers, these YA authors, they can write real damn good. They can write so damn good that you want more. And I think you should just require more from the adult authors, okay? Those adult novels, right? If you want more of a plot, if you want more of everything that YA gives you, but you want the adult elements, push those adult authors to step up their game. I feel like YA is underrated for a lot of people, but the plot hits. You still feel grief. You still feel sadness. You still feel anger. You still are on the edge of your seats because of what's happening in the plot. And you can do all of that without relying on the sexual content. So, anyways, how do you guys feel about that? Do you feel like YA can be too steamy at times? Is there a fine limit? Do you feel like it's not steamy enough? What do you feel about those asking YA authors to add more spice into their books? And what do you feel about that one person saying, basically alluding this yearning and it not ending in wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, is a tease? How do you feel about that? I feel like it's gross. If you want adult things, go read adult novels, okay? Let YA be YA, because YA is amazing. It doesn't need that sexual content, that explicitity of it to be amazing. And I think if you come to YA asking that, what you really should do is ask those who are writing your adult novels to add more plot add more plot to the story so that you not coming up in YA spaces asking for the sex. You know what I mean? Because if you got both plotting and sex in YA, top tier, in adult novels top tier, you wouldn't be in YA asking for explicit things. You wouldn't. I might come off as a hater, but I feel like some adult novels fall flat. Some are amazing. Like, shout out to Kennedy Ryan. Her contemporary romance writing, especially the Skyland series, I love down. There's just something beautiful about it. I think there's a tastefulness about it. And you still provoke other emotions. There's more things to the plot. One of my favorite contemporary romance writers to this day. So there's authors that go out there and do it. There's authors that go out, do it, get it done, give you everything you wanted and more. Don't come to YA asking for shit you shouldn't be asking for. Anyways, let me know your thoughts down below respectfully. Make sure you like this video if you did in fact like this video, and make sure you subscribe. I would really appreciate it. So until next time, y'all. Peace.